Discretion is advised.
Some viewers may find this disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Ben&Grem Show. Sunday. Was it yesterday, of course? Wonderful show that it was too. But no, we're on the Monday night. On the Monday night show, Monday night guest would normally be. Unfortunately, we haven't got a guest for you today, sadly. We're going to say COVID-19. I don't think that's generally the reason for the guest not being here, but it fits, doesn't it? What do you think, Graham?
You know, it is a shame, I'm afraid, but we have a way out of it, don't we, Ben?
We do.
It's an exciting evening.
We do, and of course we're going to mix it up a little bit, Graham, aren't we? Today we have, as I say, normally a Monday night guest. It's slightly different. It's something like a similar sort of evening to a Sunday night instead, but we've got some different material to give you this evening, and hopefully fun all the same. And so again, like previous shows, please do put some comments in the comments box. Try and engage in some of the stuff that we're doing, and it'll be great. But there has been something just in, Graham. Okay, so of course we've got a bit of a script to go this evening, but I want to talk very quickly before we get going. I want to talk about something that's just been going on recently, and it's something that's circulating. Okay, we'll just wait for the crowd to. Thank you. Thank you. So yeah, as I say, before I was gratefully interrupted by the audience, I want to just say yes, we have a bit of news come through, and it's from a group called Taxpayers Alliance. It's news just in, weekly bulletin, and it's courtesy of a man called Frank who sent that in. So thank you very much, Frank, for sending this in. It's very interesting, and as I say, it's slightly off script, but we're going to throw this in. It's a bit of a bonus, you could say. Now, Graham, shall I start, or is there something you want to mention to the folks?
No, you go ahead.
All right.
You can start.
Right, so, as I say, it's Taxpayers Alliance, weekly bulletin. City Hall Fat Cats. Now, that's an interesting topic. Okay, let me just start here. I will start with the subject, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so, this week, we exposed the astronomical number of the City Hall bosses enjoying six-figure salaries at the taxpayer's expense. Dubbed the City Hall Rich List, our research team revealed that 654 employees of the Greater London Authority and its various offshoots received pay packets in excess of 100,000 in 2008 to 2009.
Ridiculous. Totally ridiculous.
Transport for London, absolutely, Graham. Transport for London, TfL, had 518 staff taking home wages of over 100,000. Of these, 114 were paid more than 150,000.
I mean, that's ridiculous. I mean, that is very close to the Prime Minister's salary. It's just not acceptable. Exactly.
I mean, yeah, I totally agree, Graham. It says here, TfL bosses Michael Brown topped the rich list, enjoying a taxpayer-funded wage slip to the tune of £508,301 sterling. This comes just weeks after TfL received 1.6 billion bailout from the taxpayer, saying emergency funding was required to prevent it from busting or going bust.
Unbelievable. The more I hear, it's just ridiculous.
Yes. It follows on to say, Mayor of London, Sadiq Khan.
What a lovely chap he is, eh?
Reaped in more than 150,000 in salary. Bonuses and benefits were also included in that, but it doesn't end there. Incredibly, 16 of his staff got more than 100,000. Meanwhile, Londoners have seen their average council tax precept increase by 9% in the last 4 years. Let me just take a breath. What do you say about that? Sorry, I'm a bit speechless. I'm reading it. The first time I actually read it, folks. I mean, this is news off the hot press. This is. Our report received so much media coverage that it is fair to say each and every taxpayer in London heard or read about it. Notably, highlights include the Daily Star, Daily Telegraph, LBC, and Talk Radio. In fact, Talk Radio presenter Mike Graham was so incensed by these sky-high salaries that he taught up his notes live on air when speaking to the colleague Sam Packer. But he didn't stop there. The following day, Mike discussed the report with London mayoral candidate Sean Bailey. Both highlighted the how ridiculous how ridiculous these salaries are, especially in the light of so many failures by TfL on Crossrail. Getting tongue twisted here, Graham. So this is quite interesting. It says these stupendous salaries are a high burden on the taxpayers across the capital. London has many talented public servants working hard to keep the capital running. But the massive rise in Premier League pay packets suggests Sadiq's City Hall is far more expensive than it needs to be. Wow. I never. That is something else, Graham. Isn't it?
It is, but will it fall on the right ears? That's the question.
Well, that is a question, because you're absolutely right. That's a bit of a kick in the teeth, really. I mean, when you think about the NHS workers, and yet we respected them recently, haven't we? All of us, each and every one of us, over the COVID-19 pandemic, and clapping the NHS. They should have done with some of that money, couldn't they? Shouldn't they? I mean, I'm sure they've not been left short. I like to believe, in the crisis, in the need for obviously needing the extra funding to support the NHS in this particular crisis. But that sort of salary, you know, public servants across London and elsewhere probably are nowhere near that amount. I mean, that's absolutely astronomical.
It's ridiculous. It's plain ridiculous. It really is. I mean, this money that they're being paid is just the amount should be a lot less, at least half, I would probably say.
Yes.
And then the rest of the money could be put back, couldn't it, into the taxpayer, and maybe the council tax rates will lower slightly by a small percentage. It should be paid back to the people.
I agree with you entirely, Gwen. Absolutely.
I just can't. Why am I saying I can't believe it? Of course, it's going to happen, but it's always okay, isn't it?
Indeed.
For a particular group, they can do no wrong.
No, exactly. But there you go. Well, you say that. I mean, clearly they can, and maybe, you know, close scrutiny will come of this. I would say I'd like to feel sorry for Sadiq Khan, though, Graham. I mean, he's got a lot of pressure on his back. You know, I mean, you know, we know he's got a lot of troubles with London at this point in time, and whether or not he believes that is the case. I mean, obviously politics does come into this, but with that as well hanging over his neck, that's a lot of stress, right? So it'd be interesting to see what response we get back on that.
Well, the blame will be put in one direction, Ben, like it always is. It will be directed straight back to the government of the day.
Yeah.
Because that's the way things are done. Pass the blame.
Indeed. Well, I just want to pick up on what we just discussed here. Lisa Terry is in. Thank you, Lisa, for joining us on this Monday night show.
Thank you.
She said she can't hear you, Graham. We know, actually, that we do have a problem with Graham's sound. And just to reiterate a little bit about that, when we come to editing this particular show, may go out tonight, may go out tomorrow, you will hear difference in sound. And the reason for that is we have got some issue between Graham's end and my end. It's something that we can't touch a finger on at the moment, or put a finger on at the moment. But as soon as we do, and we recognise what we need to do, I think, to make it somewhat better, until then, we're just going to have to make do, which is a little bit roughshod. It's a bit sort of amateur. But then again, we are the Ben and Grem show, Graham, aren't we?
Yeah, we're different. It's a different kind of show.
Well, we are different. I mean, you only got to take one look at me. But yeah, so Lisa says, that is shocking. We should all have a say who goes in to our capital city as mayor. Absolutely, absolutely. Well, obviously you have the mayoral elections, which are coming round, Graham. When are the mayoral elections?
Well, they should have happened already, but they've been postponed, haven't they? Is it? I believe is it October? I think it's October or November. I think it's going to run around about the same time as the president of the USA election. Yeah,
I think you could be right there. So yeah, we've got one up and coming. I mean, whether Sadiq Khan gets his post again or not is another matter, isn't it? I mean, there's a lot of tension, certainly, with some feelings around the country, I think, not just Londoners, but I think outside of. I mean, you know, just take jumping around subjects here, but just take the statues. I mean, of course, that's not just consigned to London, although many of which are in London, but that's a national thing. You know what I mean? It's of an interest to many people up and down the country, not just those that live in the city. So that actually is a very good point. I think Sadiq Khan has got not just the burden of those in London on his back potentially, but he's also got people further afield. So yeah, he's going to have a tough election, it would be fair to say. But we shall see. But I wish him luck, like I wish all politicians luck, of course. Wouldn't wish ill on anyone. That's not why we're here. And hopefully we'll get it sorted. Graham, so what sort of day you had before we jump onto our topics for the evening? Have you had a good evening? Have you had a good day so far, Graham?
Yes, I've had quite a positive day, Ben. It's been normal, a normal kind of day, but it's been positive.
Good. Well, that's good news. And of course, that's what you want, isn't it? It's been a nice day. It's been hot, actually, ladies and gentlemen. It's been really good.
Been lovely. Been down the seafront for a nice walk with the dog. It's been a beautiful day.
Yes, it has. It has indeed. Kevin Bland, nice to see you, Kevin, as well. Thank you. Kevin says he can't hear Graham. I know. Sorry, guys. Don't feel sorry for him or me. Well, yeah. Okay, Graham.
Can they hear some of me?
All of me. What song is that? All of me. I don't even know. I tend to sing it. One candidate for each county. One candidate from each county, Kevin says. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I agree, actually. Yeah, let's dissolve powers, or no, devolve, not dissolve. I'm talking about dissolve. No, devolve powers down to counties. Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, you've got a Kent County Council, haven't we? We've got a KCC for Kent, but of course, and I'm sure similarly you have, if I'm right in saying, county councils in other areas. Of course, I think you do. I'm sure you do.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, one could say maybe MPs have got that role, have a more sort of devolved power. You know what I mean? Being the, say, Dover and Deal MP, which is Natalie Elphick, as we know. So I suppose that is already in play. But yeah, I see where you're going though, Kevin. I get it. For Khan. Oh, right, for Khan, yeah. So, yeah. Actually, no. Now that makes even more sense. Now I see where you're going with this. So Kevin says we should have one candidate for each county. So if you take London, that's a pretty big place. So, of course, if you've got maybe one mayor for the whole of London, there are different sections of London that maybe work slightly differently in certain ways of life. So that makes sense. You know, you've got, I'm not going to say posh parks, that sounds the wrong word to use, but you've got the nicer parts or not so nicer parts. I know it's each their own to decide on where those parts are. I'm just saying as an example, don't take it as read. But yeah, that makes absolute sense. It makes absolute sense. So I do get where you're going there, Kevin. Graham, now, we talked about over the last few days, and particularly yesterday in the Sunday evening show, we talked about social distancing. And of course, as many people know, that there's a couple of things that have come out about that recently. So it's 2 meters rule, but actually looking to change to a 1 meter rule soon, which I'm not sure is the right thing to do or not. That's up to the public to decide, I suppose, as a collective. But where I'm coming from this is I want to say, Graham, or Grem, for the sake of the Ben and Grem show, Graham, I want to say, have you found that mammals in particular have kind of got this sorted out? Would you agree with me?
Yes, I do. I do agree with you, Ben.
I mean, I can divulge. I mean, what I mean by that? Well, okay, animals. Animals, I mean, they have their moments, don't they? I mean, some are pretty on the ball and some aren't, unless you're a dog. But the point is this, Graham. Mammals, they are social distancing, even if they don't realise they're doing it. And even if we don't know that they're doing it. And I'll just give an example of that. I'm not sure how this is going to work, but I'm going to show you a short clip, okay, of what I mean, and see if you can get where I'm coming from, guys, okay? So bear with me. So, as you see there, Graham, do you get my point? You get my point? Animals, as much as it probably wasn't the instance of social distancing, it's not like they had in their own minds, if they were thinking this way, that, well, we'll stay away from one another. But they are, you know what I mean? The dog was staying away from the cat was staying away from the dog. There was that gap. I mean, at all times, didn't it look like there was a 2-metre rule?
It did. Well, sometimes, some respects, a lot more than a 2-metre rule.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think the moral of the story here, Graham, wouldn't you say, is that we could actually learn from some of our furry friends, couldn't we?
We could.
Yeah. So they do have their uses, not just because they're cuddly, and not just because they will always stick by you, but because they are quite on the ball when it comes to this stuff. Quite on the ball. Anyway, we just lost a little bit of signal there, but we're back. At least we did on my end, but I'm not sure if you guys experienced that. Graham, yeah, so what do you think? Do you agree with me? I mean, you know, you've got the situation around animals. I mean, they're pretty clued up, aren't they? They're not silly things, are they?
No, they've got it clued up. They know where their, their bread's buttered.
Buttered bread. Oh, I fancy that right now. Graham, there is something else that I want to just jump onto as well, and it's another funny. All right, I mean, this is what tonight's all about. It's a little bit of fun tonight, guys. It's a bit more relaxed. Elaine Slade has come on, and she says, "Hello, Elaine." Firstly, she says, "Graham, can't hear you again." Guys, I'm really sorry. We're sorry, Graham.
Well, they can't hear me. They can't hear me, or they can hear some of me. Is it just faint sound? I'm as close as I can get to the laptop.
Your skin does look much better the closer you get. Isn't that right, folks?
Yeah. And it's not plastic surgery either. I just look this good.
You're whispering, Graham, Elaine says. Well, Elaine, thank you for joining us. And I don't know if you heard us just mention this a moment ago. We were aware that there was going to be a potential possibility of a sound issue. And so to get around this, as I mentioned a little bit earlier in the show, we are going to edit tonight's show, and it will go out tomorrow or maybe later this evening, and the sound issue will be resolved for that footage. Now, we don't know exactly what the reason is for this, because particularly from my area here, my setup here, recording live for you guys, it's all working as well as it needs to, or as well as it should at least. But there does appear to be an issue with the sound between Graham and myself. So as much as he's coming through well on my side, evidently he's not coming through well on your side. We have a way of rectifying it. He has some equipment. He has a microphone and some setup and a mixer that he needs to set up. Of course, he's waiting for what we call an XLR cable. So of course, once we get that, he should be up and running and ready to go, and things will all be as good as they can be. So hopefully. Indeed. So yeah, so I do apologise, guys. I hope you can hear him just enough at least to have him engage and take part in the show, because without Grem, it wouldn't be the Ben and Grem show.
Mm.
And without Ben, it could work a little bit better, couldn't it, Grem? But you know, but we work together. That's what it is. We come as like peas in a pod, Grem, don't we?
Yes, we do. We
couldn't be a pea without his pod, would it?
Exactly.
So Grem, so yeah, I want to just jump on. Thanks, Elaine, and thank you for your feedback as well. Yeah, so Grem, I want to go on to this funny video. Now, I will just give a bit of a disclaimer, because when I saw this and me and Grem found this, I thought it'd be a bit of a chuckle. I mean, it's just the comedy side of it, if you can call it that. Maybe it's my dry sense of humour, I don't know. But there was an area within the video I just want to sort of put across, as I said, a disclaimer, and say I didn't agree with what the officer done. And it comes about over the recent news of what we know about officers and their due diligence. But this in particular is, I think it's a little bit uncalled for in one instance, but the rest of it, it's fairly policey stuff, right? So anyway, without further ado, Graham, should we crack on with the video and we'll show the folks?
Yes, please do.
Right. Okay then, guys. Enjoy this video. It's a little bit, like I say, it's a funny video. I hope you see the funny side of it, and that's the whole point in this. But without further ado.
My skateboard is kind of. You there? Put your hands behind your back. Palms up. Put your hands behind your back all day. It's warm. Stay just like that. Cross your ankles. Ooh. Cross your ankles. Take pictures. Stay just like that. You understand me? Bring your ankles up to your butt. What, man? What's my skateboard? Bring your ankles up to your butt. That's how far I go. You think I'm at Pilates? Stay just like that. I think I'm having a heart attack. I'm out of breath. Keep going. Stay just like that. Just take this hand up, just like that. Don't move it. Work. Oh, watch your hand, bud. That's my locker. It don't work. Don't do drugs, kids. Those are my quarters. You want to put those in your pocket? That is change. You know how long it took me to acquire those? Some of those are limited edition. Well, that's my flash drive. Don't look at it. I just want to see Big D. That's my wallet. You have no. Ooh. And watch your fingers, booty hole man. He's strong. I want to be all together. Every strong man got his head alive. Like doing the weird shit. What y'all say? Where's the triumph? You need help? I'll hold my boot for you. So here's the thing. With these boots, they're sensitive. Limited edition. You gonna drag me down the highway? Hey, real talk though, in my car, I got snacks. Would you mind get my snacks for me?
Well, Graham, what do you think of that?
I don't know how to answer it.
Yeah, well, you know, the guy, he was a bit of a comedian, wasn't he? The guy that was being arrested. I mean, we're not entirely sure why he was being arrested. It could be a speed offence. It could have been, I don't know, it could have been anything, couldn't it? It didn't really stipulate what reason he was being arrested for, but the guy had a bit of a sense of humour. But do you know what, Graham? I mean, this is where you've got to draw the line, I suppose. And there was a reason for this video. As much as it was funny, I mean, the guy was being a bit of a funny guy, wasn't he? But the police officer, as much as he wasn't playing to it, you know, he's doing his job. Do you think, Graham, there was absolutely any need to use that taser in that situation? I mean, the guy was complying, wasn't he? I mean,
not at all. I don't believe that there was.
No, I mean, when I saw the video,
unless they've got some past experience with the same guy.
Maybe. Well, if maybe, yes, that's a good point. I mean, I suppose if they had past experience with the guy, if maybe he had committed a felony previously, then actually they didn't want to take any risks. Maybe the guy is just unpredictable. Fair enough. But on that basis of footage, you know, I mean, the guy was on the floor. He was doing as he's told. You know, he was complying with the officer. And then I thought, hang on a minute, he just hit him with the taser. Now, when I got this footage for the show, I thought, okay, this would be funny. But when I saw that, I hesitated. I thought, sure, do I want to put this up? It's a bit naughty. You know what I mean? This guy's just been tasered. I mean, even if you remember, I don't know if you caught it, folks, but when he said, the guy, you know, it was on the floor, he said, don't taser me, it stings. All right, he was being funny. Don't taser me, it stings. Next thing, he's been tasered. I think, well, hang on a minute, that was a bit uncalled for. I mean, the police shouldn't be doing that. But anyway, the moral of the story was, it was a bit fun, wasn't it? I mean, I want to know how the police officer didn't laugh. I mean, Graham, if I was that police officer, I just, well, I mean, you know, I mean, the guy was evidently complying, but I think I couldn't have helped but laugh in that situation.
It seemed to me also that there were obviously two police officers there. One was filming.
Yeah.
I believe I've got the honest opinion that they've dealt with this guy before on many occasions, and they've had to adapted their way of dealing with him, and that's why the situation was filmed the way it was.
Mm. Yes, well, that makes sense. I think you could be right there, Graham. Lisa has made a comment. Not. Say again.
Possibly not.
Well, possibly, yeah, but yeah, I mean, you got to sort of go with caution, haven't you? You got to kind of think that actually the police had a reason for what they did, i.e., using the taser. It'd be wrong to suggest, maybe like I did, that you know it was wrong to do it. There could have been a very valid reason for it. If they maybe tried to arrest him previously for that moment, and of course he evaded the police, so therefore they thought, the police potentially, that he could have been a threat. So yeah, I mean, but then again, I don't know. The guy was. I mean, in that situation, I think the guy was pretty lenient with the police. I think he was kind of doing as he was asked. In fact, he was the one who put himself down on the ground and did as, you know, so I just thought maybe the taser was a bit over the top. You know, he certainly could have had it out, and he certainly, I think, could have used it if he thought he needed to, if there was some resistance. But I don't think that guy was prepared to resist. I mean, just judging by what we saw there. So, yeah, interesting. It's about, I think that's the thing with police, isn't it? It's kind of, you have a big responsibility, not only to enforce the law, but I think there's an opportunity for you to exercise the mind in a way that to act responsibly in any particular situation, you know. So don't take everybody as the absolute criminal, you know what I mean? There could be some cross wires, there could be a various different number of reasons as to why you maybe need to contact that person, whoever that person may be. They might not just be, they might have a very good story. So don't go in hot and heavy, I think, until I think it's fair to say that they are not complying. Ultimately, we have to respect the law, regardless whether we agree with them or not. They are there to protect us and others. So, but yeah, I think that guy was being more than reasonable. Don't you?
There's a bigger picture to this. It's got to be, as I said.
Probably.
Yeah.
But it was a bit cheeky, wasn't it? It was a bit cheeky.
Yeah, it's a bit cheeky. Maybe he's one of those characters that likes to have a laugh and a joke at the officer's expense, and then on a Friday night drinking session with his pals, oh, I got tasers today, wow, man, and all that. Yeah, could be a bit of a lad, couldn't he? Yeah, could be. Yeah, well, yeah. But I suppose you could say, even from the police's point of view, regardless of whether it was necessary that he used a taser or not, I suppose you could say the police acted professionally in that situation. I mean, there's me saying, oh, what would I do? I'd probably laugh. I don't know. I mean, it's hard to say unless you're in that situation. I did notice as well, as I'm sure everyone else did, the restraining of the assailant was done so with minimal force. There was literally, there was hardly any pressure. I don't think there's any pressure put on the chap at all.
No, but I mean, and why would there need to be? Because if there's any reason to believe that he's complying, or if there was evidence to say that and suggest that the guy was complying, which I think it was clear that he was, then absolutely there was no need to I think, use any particular force. But that's it, isn't it? It's a thin line. I mean, you get all human beings are individuals, and therefore working in jobs like the police force, they've got a responsibility to think carefully and responsibly and act on any situation in the right way, you know, and that takes, I suppose, training and skill, and personal character. You know, it takes a big thing. It's not just being an officer and putting a uniform on. You know, you've got to have a people person skill. You've got to be able to read people. You've got to be able to act on any situation at the right time in the right way. So it's yeah, it's tough, I suppose. I mean, what would I know? I'm not a police officer, but I can pretty much guarantee that those police officers out there would sort of see where I'm coming from with that. Maybe, or maybe not. Maybe if we've got some police officers here watching, put your opinion across if you want to. Lisa Grem, Lisa has said dogs have evolved. They would have attacked first. Yeah, makes sense. As cats hide to hunt to pounce. Wolves attack in packs to show strength, but both have been domesticated to be civil. Yeah, they have. Absolutely, Lisa. You're absolutely right. Dogs and cats, animals in general, particularly those of what we know domesticated animals, they have become very placid. They're almost better than humans in some way. Wouldn't you say, Grem?
A lot better than some humans, yes.
I mean, if I told you to sit, Grem, bearing in mind you already are, but if I told you to sit, you don't have to talk to me in response now about how you would respond to that, because it is still only 20 to 8, but you get my point. You know, yeah. There's a way to talk to people, but a dog will take anything, you know, within reason. You know, it could say anything to it. Chances are it probably doesn't understand you, but if it did, it might be a different story. But the point being is you can say anything to a dog for your own entertainment if you wish, but you'll always get a good response. Yeah, I stood on my dog's tail the other day. She still came back for a cuddle. I mean, you know what I mean? If that was a human, if I stood on your foot, Grem, unless I said sorry, of course, you're not going to want to talk to me for a little while, are you, surely? If I say something nasty to a partner of mine, be it one, you know, she's gonna naturally take an upset to me, isn't she? I mean, this is how human beings work. But animals, it's a totally different subject. They are just so resilient and so understanding, companion for life, or for their duration of life anyway. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Grem, what is going on, all right, with now I'm going to say the youth of today, and I'm not having a pop at youth, because look, all I'm going to say on the matter is we were all young once and we all did silly things. And in particular, what I'm referring to is not necessarily a silly thing. It's something that people have caught on to, and it's not just about the youth. It's also the adult generation as well. So I can say, and I can hold my hand up, that I am also somebody that has enjoyed certain material involved with this next subject. Grem, you've got a slightly different opinion on the matter, haven't you?
Oh, yes. Yes, I have. I don't see the point, but maybe that's just my age.
Well, I suppose, yeah. I mean, maybe. Yeah, but you're not much older than me, Grem. I mean, it's only a good 20 years, wouldn't you say?
We can fall out now if you like, mate. I'm not 20 years old. Yeah.
Well, actually, I've got more worried on than you, I can say. So, you know. No, you're not that much older than me, Grem, but we are of the same generation, I'd say, maybe, just.
Yeah.
But yeah. But anyway, rather than running away too much off the topic, that was a horn, by the way. I don't know if you heard that, guys. It was outside the studio. There's a lot of noise. Right. Yeah, so we're going to go straight into the subject. So the subject is TikTok, everybody. Now, everybody is on TikTok, aren't they, Grem? Well, I'll say everybody. I'm on it. I don't tend to do anything on it simply because I'm not. Now I'm going to say not skillful enough. You know, I've got to the granddad stage of doing things now. Whether it's technology or, you know what I mean. I just don't feel I'm funny anymore. So I don't think I can pull it together. Graham, what about you?
TikToking.
But they love it. People love it.
You
know. Yeah, I mean, you got some really good stuff there. We've got a bit of a collection for you tonight, just something a little bit different. Everyone's on TikTok. The children on TikTok, adults on TikTok. It's just something to pass the time, isn't it? So, Graham,
it's become quite fashionable with all generations now, especially since the pandemic. I've noticed more of an influx and use of it.
Indeed. Well, Graham, I'm going to say, no time like the present. Let's get into this and let's see some of these TikTok funnies, guys. Some of you may have seen some of this footage before, and some of you may not. Some of you might not care absolutely whatsoever, and in which case, I'm sure EastEnders is on it. 8, isn't it? Is it back on the television?
I really don't know.
But we'd rather you stay with us, obviously.
Yes, of course.
But yeah, let's get on to TikTok, Graham, shall we?
Let's get TikToking all the way.
I think things are starting to look up. Oh, okay.
Murder hornets. The New York Times reports researchers are worried that they're colonizing.
Why could they not have been called cuddle hornets?
What on earth is this?
It says here you're fine.
No, I'm good.
It's amazing how they do this stuff, though, Graham, isn't it? Changing the colours and faces and things.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm watching it a few seconds later than you, so it's going to be difficult for me to comment.
Oh, you comment all the way, mate. We understand what you're talking about.
All right, well, we're all ears. I will challenge him to chess match.
What's this? Oh, it's a Muppet. I'm looking at a Muppet.
Fucking ideas I've ever heard of.
Have you got a Muppet?
I accept your challenge to a chess match. My only condition is
A fish
I
head.
back to follow you before I go. Deal. And it's a game.
Oh my god.
My challenge. Yeah, we all heard. Good at chess, you motherfucking better be.
What the hell was that? That's how you play chess.
Oh, I must have been thinking of checkers. God damn it, Tyrone.
I win that.
Yes, you do. I can see it. Eaten or relied one of two ways, either mentally implanted or anal. Anal for me, please. Message that we have today is trace the virus, control the virus, trace the virus, control the virus.
That one's cool.
Andrew, I think we can talk, Grem, because I've muted the mics. Actually, I'm not sure if we can talk. Actually, I think I can, but you can't because you'll come through on the desktop audio. But Andrew says weird. Andrew Leonard White, and he says TikTok is a bit weird, it seems. So we'll pick up on that when we come back in. But yeah, it's annoying. I don't know if you can say anything.
Very strange.
Well then, what do you reckon on that, Grem?
I really like the granddad escaping over his railings.
Seemed like the audience liked it.
Yeah, it did. They're very loud tonight. I mean, how many do we have outside?
Well then, yeah. So that was TikTok, everybody. Some crazy stuff on there, right? I mean, I'm sure there's other bits that people have seen before that are relatively good, and some maybe not so good. But that was just a small collection of. I mean, there's so many videos that people are getting onto now. Andrew says, Andrew Leonard White, nice to see you again, mate. Nice to see you again.
Hello, Andrew.
Regular follower.
Hope you're well.
Regular follower. Yeah, great to see him. He says TikTok is a bit weird, it seems. He also says weird. No, absolutely, it is. I mean, I'm not sure, Grem. I mean, it's a different sort of sense of humour today, isn't it? I suppose.
I just don't see the point in it. Well, I just don't understand it. It's me age. I'm getting too old.
Never too old. You're only as old, Grem, as the woman you feel. Did I just say that?
I really don't know how to answer that as well.
No, Grem, don't answer it. Don't answer it. I don't know where that came from. So, Grem, that's TikTok. And what do you call it, Grem? You've got a word for this, haven't you?
Oh, yes, I said it earlier on. TikToking.
TikToking. Anybody ever said TikToking?
I say it deliberately to my youngest just to wind her up. It's not Dad, it's TikTok. Are you still doing your TikToking?
So, Grem, have you got family that are on TikTok? I mean, do you have people that, you know, are on it? You know?
Oh, yes. All three of my daughters are on TikTok. They regularly do their TikToking.
Right. Interesting. That's good. It's good. It's harmless fun, isn't it, really? It's quite talented, actually. I mean, I've never done it, right? But I will say, from what I understand, you have to take various different shots of a video to compile into or edit, because I think TikTok's got some sort of editing software within it, which you can then use to make the videos that you're creating. So it's quite interesting. I mean, maybe one day I'll give it a go, Grem. What do you reckon? Maybe the Ben and Grem show will give it a go one day. We'll never know. We'll see.
Well, it depends how many votes we get for it. I might take part in it.
Why? Absolutely. Grem, that's a very good point, because I think now take TikTok. I think it's very similar to, I'm going to say Vine. Is it Vine? Do you remember Vine? It's very similar, it seems. Like, because you get this, don't you? Like, do you remember like MySpace, going back, all the social media platforms? You had like MySpace, and then of course you end up with things like Instagram, Facebook. I think MySpace was actually out before Facebook, if I'm right in saying. You can correct me if I'm wrong. And then you've got things like Vine, then you've got TikTok, and anyway, if there's any more that you know of that I've forgotten, please mention it. But do you know what I mean? They all seem to have a similarity, and it's like they all follow from one another, don't they? So I wonder what the next one will be, Grem.
I don't think they can improve.
Never know.
Or not improve. Or reverse, go backwards. Maybe go backwards. Maybe go back to the age of the mobile phones that you can just receive calls and make texts on.
Yeah. Talking of mobile phones, Graham, do you remember how big they used to be? Do you remember the first phones? I think they're Motorola, weren't they? I mean, it was black and white screen.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Buttons as big as your cooker. Yeah. I never had one of those though, Graham, did you? I mean, I remember, just for example on this subject, I remember my dad, sorry Dad, he's got a good phone now, but I remember my dad with a Motorola, we got it out of the box, this thing was huge. It must have weighed about 2 bags of sugar. And he was playing around with it, and I was like, wow, this is cool. And it was just a phone. It was just a phone. Now, I never thought that about the old handset, or the one where you put your finger in the hole and spin it. Do you know what I mean? With the old, yeah.
And let it go back.
They weren't cool. It was just a telephone.
And then the next number.
So what part of mobile phone technology became cool? I mean, was it the smartphone? Evidently, probably so. Or was it even with the Motorola? They were cool. Everyone wanted one. It was like a brick. Yeah, you know, you can talk to someone on the move. I suppose it was the start of something, wasn't it? Like all things. And it had the most awkward ringtones, if I remember rightly. It was very clunky. But can you remember, Grem, what the batteries were like? Because if you think about it, well, the smartphones today, they drain very quickly because of all the technology, all the lighting involved in the screen and everything else. It uses a lot of power. But these Motorolas, do you remember? Because they were very simplistic in what they did. They weren't smartphones, but they tend to go, didn't they, a little bit further, didn't they? They tend to, a charge could last, what, 4 or 5 days, right? Yes,
I can remember having a phone. It was, I think the brand was NEC. Oh, it's a Nectar phone or something like that. And the full battery on that lasted over 3 days.
Yeah.
You had this green flashing, blinking light on the top, just blinking all the time. There was a couple of occasions where I'd gone out to visit some friends, and on the way back, I'm thinking, "Where's my phone?" And taking a view from the rear view mirror, I can see this green flashing light on the rear end of the car, of course, flashing away. So I pulled over. This happened to me twice. To retrieve my phone, which is just rested next to one of the left side of the rear spoiler. Yeah, literally resting there. Resting. I missed that phone.
Could you charge them on the move? You couldn't, could you? They weren't like mobile phones today where you just plug a USB cable in and off you go. They weren't, were they? They were wall socket ones, weren't they?
Yeah. That was basically the case. There was no USB chargers back then.
However, and it doesn't mean anything nowadays because things have moved on, but if they did exist back then, and they may well have done, maybe some home stores might have sold them, or some tech stores, or whatever was around at the time. I can't remember now. I don't think Maplin's was around then, but correct me if I'm wrong. But power inverters, now you can get those for cars. Now in theory, you could have probably charged your phone up on the go in a car with a power inverter, like a 30-watt power inverter would have done it. But I don't know if they existed back then, guys. Does anybody know? They must have done, mustn't they? Businesses must have had power inverters back in the early 90s.
Well,
Yeah,
one thing is for certain here is you definitely would have got a power converter.
Well, Grem, you touch on a very odd story, actually, which I feel now I'm compelled to share. Do you think it's worthy of people's ears, Grem?
I apologise, everyone. Go make a cup of tea. Put the kettle on. Right,
okay. So there was a situation where the car I currently drive is a Toyota Verso, 7-seater, quite ample for my considered large family. But anyway, cut long story short, and I'll try and make it as short as I possibly can because, you know, there are programs on the TV you need to watch. But anyway, cutting to the chase. My heater stopped working. The blower just didn't go hot. It was weird. It was like the thermostat. I thought at least it was a number of different things it could have been. And in fact, if I remember rightly, it had nothing to do with the thermostat. It was, now interesting enough, it was a cog underneath the dashboard by your feet, where you would apply your feet near the pedals. And there was this little cog, and it had come away from another cog, which was an arm which turned a lever. And that lever moved between hot and cold, right? Simple as that, quite basic. But I didn't know this. I didn't know this existed. And so for months, and I would say months, it was for a winter the other year, I drove through the whole entire winter with no heating. And so you can imagine first thing early in the morning when I, go to work, 5, 6 in the morning, the car was absolutely rock solid with ice. And it was a nightmare. It was an absolute nightmare. I remember shouting. I remember driving down the road, just shouting, going, because I wasn't losing the plot, I don't think, if I haven't already. But I was shouting because, I had all this ice. I couldn't get rid of it. And it made it worse because when I scraped it off, it would come back as I went down the road. Well, anyway, to cut long story short, and it's not very short, is it? There was a situation where I got an inverter. And I got a power inverter, which was, I think, a 1,000-watt power inverter. I don't think I needed such a huge wattage. But then having said that, I've got a huge wattage simply because I thought, well, if I'm running a heater, it's going to need a bit of oomph. So I connected it all up to the cigarette lighter, which was a 12-volt cigarette lighter, which went to the power inverter, which converted the power into, I think, 140 volts or something like that. But could go up to 1,000 watts. So I thought, right, okay, that'll do. So I got a 750 watt heater from, I think it was B&M actually. It might have been B&M, I can't remember now. And I put it in the car and I linked it all up and I turned it on and it would work. It was brilliant. I mean, it was actually in some cases better than the car heater. It worked tremendously. Until one problem. It would trip something. Well, evidently because it was under a load. It was under a lot of pressure. So what I then had to do was get a car battery, which turned into 2 car batteries, which I connected up to the power inverter. And I connected a battery car charger to the batteries from the car into the cigarette lighter. So now I had a circuit essentially, and it was like,
oh God,
it was crazy, Grem, wasn't it? And I remember, Grem, you came out with me, didn't you, one day? And I had this thing in the back. So you know, so you're in the back of the car or in the front, and you've got all this wiring and these batteries and this heater underneath the seats to the front by the dashboard, by the footwell of the passenger seat, so basically the car was running, the alternator was charging through the car cigarette lighter, was charging the batteries, which was then allowing the charged battery to then power up the power inverter. Bearing in mind it was only taking 12 volts off the car batteries, 2 car batteries, which then would power the power inverter, which then would power the heater. But so the battery charger also on the battery was, it was charging the battery. Problem was though, it wasn't charging the battery quick enough. The draw of power was coming from the batteries far quicker than the car was putting the power back into the batteries. So it was a nightmare. I mean, it was a solution I thought I could come up with. It really was ridiculous. I probably should have just put it in the garage and got it repaired. But the thing was, I had done that. And Toyota at the time, they had a look at it and they didn't diagnose it. And I think I paid, well, I took it to Motorline, and they're a great company, by the way. I'm not knocking them. And it's obviously they're the manufacturer of Toyota, or company involved with Toyota. So they had a look, and I think they charged me just something like £200. You know, that was just to have a look at it, and obviously evidently try and repair it, but they couldn't repair it on the first turn. So I thought, you know what, I'll sort it myself, makeshift. But then I discovered, as I said earlier, there was a little cog underneath the dashboard by the footwell of the driver's side, and all I had to do was just put the cogs back together again, because one had slipped off, and Bob's your uncle.
And it worked.
And it worked. Like, it never went wrong. So there you go. That's the story of my life.
Well, one of the many stories of your life.
Yeah. Andrew Leonard White has said RS Components have sold them for a long time. RS Components, yeah. RS Components, of course, yeah. No, I never thought about that. You're right. He also says, could the USAF get a mention, as they have lost a member of the 48th Fighter Wing today? That's sad news. The pilot of the downed F-15C Eagle from the 48th Fighter Wing has been located and confirmed deceased. The tragic loss of the 48th Wing community, and our deepest condolences go out to the pilot's family and the 493rd Fighter Squadron. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, Andrew. Thank you for sharing that information for us and for the viewers. That is sad news. Very sad. What a hero, as they say. Yeah, and I hope the family are not hurting too hard at this point in time. That's very sad. Yeah, thank you for that, Andrew. Graham, that's sad, isn't it?
It is extremely sad.
It is. But anyway, there is something else we want to share for you, Graham, and we've got something a little bit different this evening, haven't we?
Yes.
Now, we've never tried this, all right? We haven't even rehearsed it, Graham, have we? So it's basically off the cuff, all right? We're going to give this a go. It might actually not work at all, but let's just say we hope it will. And if it does, it could be a bit fun, right? It's a little bit different to what we're used to. And like I say, largely comes down to the fact that we couldn't get a Monday night guest this evening because of coronavirus. It wasn't because of coronavirus. It was simply because nobody wanted to come on the show. But that's fine, because, you know, there are times where people have other things to do, and we can totally respect that. But Graham, you know, it doesn't matter, does it? We don't get a viewer or two. If we don't get a guest, it doesn't matter. We can carry on. We keep on riding out the storm, don't we?
Yeah, we will just change a section of the show to fit the situation, and we will produce something interesting.
Absolutely. Now, absolutely. And Grem, we're going to jump in to this next thing here. It's the game show, everybody. We've got a bit of a game show going on tonight. A little bit different. So I'm going to play the game show, all right, and hopefully you guys can keep involved and take part. Now, what I can't do, and I've just realised this while we're live, is I cannot stop the video at any time. So it's going to be ongoing. So I will keep an eye on the chat as the video is going, and let's see how many people get these right, all right? There will be an example video, I've seen that at least, but what I'll say is the footage that we are just about to show has not been seen by either myself or Grem, all right? So it's not as if we know what's coming. So I have to say now, if there is something a little bit on the edge, I can only apologise, right? This is live, all right? So that's our little disclaimer, okay? We don't know what we're going to be showing here. Maybe I should have checked it, Grem.
Yeah, I think you should have checked it.
I probably should have checked it. Grem, Andrew Leonard White says keep on rolling. Absolutely, that's it. That's all you can do, isn't it? When times get hard, just keep on rolling. Right, should we get going then, Grem? Should we get this game show going? Maybe you guys can take part.
Keep on rolling.
Let's do this. Right then. Right then. Yeah. Right, game show. Right. Get on with it, Lee says. Yes. Lee.
Come on.
That's not a bad idea. I think we should get on with it. We are going to get on with it, but we are going to get on with it. Are we going to get on with it? We are going to get on with it. I would like to get on with it. Are we going to get on with it, Grem?
Yes, we are. On the next click. Click away.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I know why. Okay. Just bear with us, guys. Slight hiccup. But it's not a hiccup, really, is it? It's not, because the weather's good. You know, we're just having fun, aren't we? While we're talking, I'm not even doing what I need to do to get this sorted. But we will get it sorted, Graham, because that's the way it will be, isn't it? Everything comes together in the end, doesn't it? Does it?
Yes, it either comes quickly or doesn't come at all.
Well, there is that. Do you know what? Well, this is great, isn't it? Before we get onto the game show, guys, just bear with us. Okay, so Graham's quieter than ever. He is. Well, he's a quiet chap, Lee. He's very, very quiet. He's conserved. Conserved? He's
Quieter than ever. Apparently there's an issue with the sound.
Yeah, there is.
Still.
Yeah, well, Graham, can you talk to the folks about that and explain what you think the issue could be and how we think we're going to be able to rectify it while I get the game show ready, because the game show is here and it's very, very close to becoming part of this show. So rest assured, folks.
Okay. Well, basically, I have a issue with my built-in dual microphone on the HP laptop. I do have a condenser mic, but I am lacking a XRL lead for it. I have one that came with the microphone, but it's not the right millimeter male end to plug into the device that I've got, my 48-volt charger, to boost the sound quality of the microphone so it is able to be used. I've been out and about today. I've spent nearly 3 hours trying to look for somewhere where I could purchase one. I've not been successful. And Curry's, I don't believe, is opening in Folkestone yet, probably until July. So I may have to do an eBay and get it from there, or Amazon. So that's the story. So if Ben has managed to get the necessary game show clip, we can move on with the show. Can't we, Mr. Glayzer?
Yes, Graham. When Ben gets the necessary game show clip, we can move on. When Ben gets the necessary game show clip, we can move on. If I say that, if I say that 10 times, do you think people will leave?
Yeah. Go on, keep saying it.
There is. Hang on a minute. We need a producer. Guys, this is awkward. This is funny, actually. I think this is hilarious. I had it. Where's the game show, Grim? Where's it got to? Where has it got to?
Have you added it to your front screen?
Ah, do you know what? Do you know what? Do you know what? Do you know what? All of this problem wasn't really a problem. I just thought that I'd want to talk to you and ramble on for a few minutes. There was no purpose by this problem. I have rectified the problem. It was already rectified before it started. I made hard work of this. I don't know what I was thinking about, but we are ready to go.
Cool.
Okay, right. Guys, here we are. The game show is happening. Graham, the game show is happening.
Good. We'll turn it up so we can hear it.
It's going to happen, but first, I want to just want to give a round of applause for the fact that we rectified the situation.
Cool.
Right. Are you ready?
Yes, I think everyone's ready. Ready?
Right. Okay. Right. Let's just see this in action. Right then, let's go. Here we are, ladies and gentlemen. We are rocking and rolling. Here we are. This is the game show, guys. We are here. We're ready, and it's happening. We are just about ready to go. Sorry about this, folks. Right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Game show.
Press play.
All right, you ready for this, guys? What do you think is going to happen?
What happens next?
So, guys, I'm pausing the video, so it might stay on your screen just a little bit longer. I can actually pause the video. I've sussed it, so don't get me wrong. It's going to work nicely. So let's just have a go at this. Right, so you heard the music. We have a few options here. So Taylor Swift, everyone know Taylor Swift. She's dancing around. She's singing one of her songs. Trouble. She might have some trouble on her hands. So, Graham, what would you say? Lee says D. A goat jumps in and starts screaming. Okay, interesting. Graham, what about you?
I quite like Lee's one. I'm going to go for B.
B.
Yeah.
Okay.
B.
Lee says he didn't hear any music. Oh, okay. That's not good. Okay. Well, hopefully that will change in the next caption. So we've got D and we've got B. Okay. I'm not going to do this one simply because I know what happens, because I had to test this video out. I only listened in the very beginning, so I'm not going to play this part, but I will play the second one. So, okay, A, B, C, D. Let's see which one it is without further ado. Right then, Graham.
Mhm.
So there you go.
What was the answer?
The answer, it was D.
Cool.
Yeah. So Lee was right. It was the goat. Did you see the goat, Graham?
No, my concentration was taken off for a while.
No, that's quite all right.
Yeah, making notes.
Sort of thing Lee says he hadn't seen that before. Sort of thing his wife finds. Wow. Yeah.
Right, next one then.
Right, next one. So the next one is for real, guys. Okay, this is now. So the first one was a bit of a test. It was just showing you the format of how this was going to work. This little game show here. So the next one is for real. So let's go and let's see how we get on. Before we do start the rest of this game show, I want to just say that there appears to be a sound issue with. Particularly on Lee's end. I don't know if it's Lee or if it's us, but if anybody else can just confirm whether they're hearing anything or not when the video is playing, it does appear that we might have a bit of a sound issue, but we'll have to sort of bear with it as we go. Hopefully it won't be a repetitive and continuous problem, simply because that's probably part and parcel of this game show, all right? You need sound.
Lovely, jubbly. Yeah, let's move on.
Let's move on.
Come on.
Right, the next one is for real, folks. Well then, what happens next, folks? Graham?
A chihuahua steals the bone. I'm going to go for B.
Right, okay. Lee, if you're there, what do you think? How about Elaine Slade? How about Andrew and Lisa, if you're still here? What about Kevin? What do you all think? What do you think happens? Okay, Lee says B. So you said B as well, Graham, haven't you?
Yeah.
Right. Do you know what? It's a shame we couldn't get some teams going, actually. We'll have to do this for the next time, you know, because we can get a bit of a team base going here, can't we?
Mm.
Okay, so B. Okay, I'm going to... Now, bear in mind, I haven't seen this either, all right? So this, from the moment on, from 1 onwards, I haven't seen. Okay, I'm going to say... I'm going to say A, because that's what I thought I saw. Okay, should we find out, Graham?
Yes, please do. It's hilarious.
Well, then, there you have it. I didn't know that was going to happen, actually. Genuine. So, bites his own leg, Grem.
That's really strange, isn't it?
Yeah. It's like when the dogs chase their tails, isn't it? They do that when they're bored, don't they?
Yeah. But,
Right.
but that looked really vicious, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. I think that dog got seriously confused with whether that was him or not. Or her.
Yeah, I think so.
Indeed, indeed. Right, okay. Video number 2, guys.
Very strange.
Yeah, very much. All right, what happens next? So we've got nothing. Nike and Jerrod goes sliding. Jerrod climbs the rock. Nike goes fishing. Well, Grem, I'm going to say nothing happens.
Yeah, I don't see. If there was something different within those answers, then it would be easier to come up with an answer. But how can you go sliding on a flat piece of grass?
Interesting.
It's not even. There's no slope.
No, well,
I didn't see a rock. Did you see a rock?
no, I didn't. Well,
There was no fishing. There was
fishing.
no.
I mean, Lee says fishing. Lee says Nike goes fishing. So what are you going with then, you say, Grem? Final answer?
Oh, D.
D.
Goes fishing.
Yeah, why not? Let's all go fishing. Literally, let's all go fishing. Okay, let's have a look. Well, who would have thought? Didn't see that coming, Graham, did you?
I just can't believe what I've just watched.
Well, the next one.
Oh my gosh.
I know, it's crazy, wasn't it? I never thought that would happen. Do you know, there was you can actually see on this particular caption that we're at, you can actually see, it looks like there's 2 furry animals in the distance just behind that rock. Can you see that rock?
Yeah.
I was kind of thinking something's going to happen there. You know, they are going to move from that little tree there, but that wasn't the case, was it?
No.
Right, let's go. What happens next? Right then, A, B, C, or D, folks. Jerrod slips and falls. Nike takes out Jerrod. Jerrod poops in the water, or Nike joins in dance party. And
I'm going to go B.
Say
B.
again, Graham.
B. Nike takes out Jerrod.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I'm going to say D. Nike joins the dance party. Andrew Leonard White says D. Andrew says D. And I think Lee has said A. So yeah, let's have a look.
Way.
Well then, that was a bit.
I'm a winner.
Graham, I wasn't expecting that, were you? Well, you were, obviously. Yeah.
I've actually got something right.
Oh, yeah, you got everything right. You were just made to be right, Graham.
Thank you for the compliment, Ben.
Well, Andrew thought it was funny. Video number 4, Graham. Here we go. Let's get this going. We're doing well here, guys. I think we're doing really well. Right. So, A, Jerrod brings Nike a drink. B, Jerrod slaps Nike. C, Nike sings sweet melodies. And D, giant bird attacks.
I'm going to go D. I reckon that other guy's gone off to get one of those big bird outfits on. You know, those
Okay.
big bird outfits that like
Right.
cheese.
Okay, you've gone D then, Graham. I'm gonna go A. Okay, I'm thinking he's gonna go and get a drink for his good friend.
No, it's going to be a big bird outfit.
Interesting. Yeah. Yeah, the viewers, let's have a look, see what they think. So you've gone D, eh? That's interesting. Something I'd do, Graham, actually. I think I'd be the one to come out in a big bird suit. I'd do that, wouldn't you? Would you do that?
Yeah.
Sort of thing I'd do. Lee goes D. Okay, Lee has gone D. Well, let's find out, guys. Well then,
Hey, I'm right again.
Graham, are you sure you haven't seen us before?
No,
All right, we'll let you off.
this is fun. This is fun.
You're doing well. Yeah, it is.
Yep.
Wow. There you go. Video number 5.
I'm enjoying this. I'm enjoying this.
You're doing very well, Graham. I hope you're keeping the scores, because I'm not.
Well, I've got 2.
All right. Well, what about the viewers? I mean, Andrew and Lee have been participating. I mean, what have they got between them? We'll trust them on this, guys. What have you got?
Lee's got 3, I think.
Right. What about Andrew?
Oh, God, Andrew, I'm so sorry. I think he's probably got 3 as well, because I'm behind.
Okay. Okay, well, we'll go with that. Okay, well.
Yeah, 3 and 3 and 3, yeah.
Video number 5, then.
Oh, dear.
I'm going to go A, Graham.
I would like to say C, but I'm not totally on it at the moment. I'll go C, but that's very nasty, isn't it? As you come down, it hits the ground.
Graham, it does look like a dangerous game that they're playing. Okay, so Graham, you've gone C. Lee has also gone C. I'm going A. I'm just thinking they're going to go straight to the other end of the screen, and that's the end of it. But we'll see. We shall see. Let's have a look, folks.
Yeah, I'm right again.
Yes, well done. Congratulations, Graham, and congratulations to Lee. Well then, I wasn't expecting that. I'm not doing very well here, Graham, am I?
Come on, get the effect of the punch.
Get the what?
I've just hit you one. Bang. Oh, God.
Well, video number 7. We're doing well yet, guys. We're doing well. I would say you guys are doing better than I. I don't think I've got one right yet.
What, Lee was right, wasn't he? What about Andrew?
Andrew, how many have you got, Andrew? Come back. I think he's got at least 2, hasn't he?
I'll put him down for 3 at the minute. So Lee's 4, Andrew's 3, and I'm 3.
Right. Okay. That's fair. That's genuine. Okay. Well, let's go then. Video number 7.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, so I say 6, shall I?
Number 6. Everyone likes a bit of 6. Mm-hmm.
Right, there you go. So Nike pushes Jerrod. Jerrod tackles Nike. Jerrod smacks Nike in. the face with the paddle, or D, all of the above? Blimey, that's a lot to take in.
D, all of the above.
I'm going to go B, Graham.
But he's already done that.
Yeah,
sure?
hasn't he? But I'm going to go B. I'm going to go B. And Lee's gone D as well. So you, Graham, and Lee are going D. I'm going B. And Andrew's going B as well. So okay, that's interesting. Yeah, I think you are, Andrew. I think you are on 3. So it's pretty tight going, I think, in a minute. But let's go. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Well then. Everything then, Andrew says. Well, yeah, it was a bit, wasn't it? To be honest with you, I had no idea. I was just going with the flow on that one. I just thought, yeah, well, me and Lee here, we pick up a point, at least. First time for everything, Ben. When you say, Graham?
Yeah, most certainly. So,
right,
that's cool. What did Lee get?
Lee also, yeah, he got D as well.
Lee's in the lead with 5. I'm not taking your score though.
Right then, what do you think on this one then, Graham? What do you think, viewers? Jerrod gets hit by a car, Knight shows up with no shirt on, dog attacks Jerrod, or Jerrod gets splashed? A, B, C, or D? I'm going D, guys.
I'm going D as well.
Lee says A. Interesting. Interesting. Right. Let's find out.
Hooray! Losers! What did Andrew go for? B, didn't he?
Andrew, I don't think he played this one, but Lee said A. Ah, that's awkward. Yeah, Lee, Andrew said his phone buffered. He was wrong anyway. I don't even know what I said, Graham. What did I say? What did I say now?
B.
B?
What was it? Yeah, I thought it was.
All right. What was that now? That was awkward.
I can't remember.
I think I buffered as well, Andrew.
Ah.
So who won that one then?
Me and Lee are tied, 5 and 5. Andrew's got 4.
Right. What have I got? 1?
2.
2. Oh, well, you are generous. I only thought I had the 1. Okay. Well, guys, this is the penultimate video.
Right.
No, it's
good.
not. Penultimate is one before the last, isn't it? This is the last.
Yes.
As
Just
it says
before
clearly.
our closure as well.
Right then. So, who's going to win the Ben and Grem Show quiz? My 6-year-old brain. Hang on. My 6-year-old brain buffer. Yeah. That's. Everyone's a winner. Chicken dinner. Yes. Well, yeah, they are a winner.
Yeah.
But you've got one more video, so we won't know just yet. But here we are. Last video, guys. Well, I'm going to go D, guys, for this one. What about you, Graham?
I'm on about a 7-8 second delay this end. I'm only getting the video from the cell phone. Tractor pulls it all the way. A tractor blows up. A kid runs in front of the tractor. Tractor flips over. What was happening at the beginning of that clip again? Was the tractor just travelling?
It was. It was. Well, D. Andrew's going for D. I'm going for D. Lee's going for B. What are you going for, Graham?
I'll go C. I'm not confident, but I will go C.
So, Graham, you're going C. A kid runs in front of tractor. Okay, interesting. Right, well, let's find out. This is for the Ben and Grem Show Game Show Championship. Let's just see who wins. Interesting. We're all winners, by the way.
Yes. I can't see nothing yet. It's not come up my end. I've got the 10-second countdown now for the answer. Oh, wow.
Wow. Ethanol. Boom. Yes. Well then. What does that mean, guys? Does that mean Lee's our winner this evening?
Lee went for B, didn't he? Or did you?
He did.
Yeah, so Lee's got 6. What did Andrew go for? B, wasn't it? No, D, with you.
So
yeah.
Lee ended up with 6 points. Andrew was on 5 points. Ben was on 2 points. I think. And Graham, what did you get?
5 points.
5 points. Well, I came in
Oh.
last, but that's okay. That was good fun, guys, wasn't it? I like that. That was good. Thank you. Thank you very much for taking part, everybody. Slightly different to the usual. And yeah, I think it went okay. Obviously, there was a little bit of a technical issue with the situation. I think it's fair to say we could have made better of it to begin with. But, you know, these things happen. Okay, you can't be great all the time. And if you could, well, then you'd be as good as Graham. Anyway, I think the most important thing here is our friend here, Lee, deserves a round of applause, everybody.
Yes. That's a long round of applause. That sounds like the same rabble outside our studios.
Well, it's fair to say that the audience were impressed with Lee, weren't they?
Yes, they were. Well done, Lee. Congratulations.
Yeah, well done, Lee. And well done for everybody taking part. What do I get for coming last, Graham?
Nothing, because you've lost.
I lost.
You know, but there's always a losing side, and you just need to suck it up and get on with it.
That's right.
Mm.
But then again, we could have another referendum, Graham, couldn't we?
Oh, why? What's the point?
I'm only kidding. We weren't going to do this tonight, were we? We were going to have no politics, ladies and gentlemen, tonight.
I know, and I was doing so well.
And I've got to let the side down. Couldn't do it, could I? Could not do it. Well, Graham, do I need to buy you a microphone? Andrew says.
No, I have one. I just need an XLR lead, which shall I have to order via Amazon or something, which I will do straight after the show.
There you go. Well,
Okay,
yeah,
so
I mean, it's just the lead you need, Graham, isn't it?
Sorry?
It's just the lead you need, isn't it?
I believe so, yes. Oh, and the data cable to go from the device to the laptop. But looking at the system, it needs to be a USB one end and a USB on the other end.
Well, yeah. Well, Andrew says 2 cups and string works better.
We ought to try that.
Might be a good idea. Andrew says, I'll get you a lead. DM me. Well, that's very kind, Andrew. That's very kind. There you go. There you go, Graham.
Well, thank you, Andrew. It's really appreciated.
Lee says G&T, but originally he said G70. I've not tried G70, Graham. What have you? Have you tried that? Have you tried G7T? I think he was talking G&T, gin and tonic, right? I mean, that is fantastic stuff.
No, Sapphire is quite a nice one, isn't it?
Absolutely. Well, actually, on the subject, I'm drinking white rum and Coke. It's not usually something I dabble in, but...
That's one of my drinks, what I used to drink when I used to have a dabble in alcohol. But I haven't drank now since mid-January.
Right.
That's the last lot of red wine that I had. But I haven't drank since. Been good.
Well, you look good for it, Graham. You get that, you get the red cheeks, don't you, if you drink too much? Is it alcohol, isn't it? You get the red cheeks. It can be quite bad for you.
Well, it doesn't do your liver any good, does it? You need to look after your body.
Indeed. Andrew says, oh, rum and Coke is nice. Yes, indeed. It is, actually. I mean, I used to drink it years ago when I first started going to pubs.
Do you like spiced rum, Ben?
Spiced rum's nice, yeah. Andrew sends an emoji with his tongue hanging out. That's, well, yeah, it's pretty good. Graham.
Well, the original spiced rum, Andrew, is it? Morgan Spice, or would you settle for like Aldi's version? This is a good one. And it's only £9.99.
£9.99. What a bargain. Grem,
Yes,
he says he needs to go back to work. It's expensive drinking every day. I know what he means. Although I'm getting in the habit of drinking tea, though, Grem.
Yeah, tea or flavoured coffees. Aldi's got some flavoured coffees. They do hazelnut. Hazelnut. What's the other one? Irish coffee flavour is gorgeous. It's really nice. Yeah.
Sounds good.
You think you're drinking alcohol in a shot of alcohol and coffee, and you're not.
Non-alcoholic.
Very nice. Yep.
Well,
2 calories per cup.
Andrew says he's with Lee on the G&T. Yeah, I do. You have, don't you? You have these situations where you have a drink that is your tipple, and you tend to not move away from it. And every now and again, you fancy a change, and that change, comes brilliantly. But you don't necessarily stay with that change. You go back to what you prefer. But I remember, what drink was it? Years ago, when I first started drinking, Grem, I used to drink, I think it was a spiced rum and coke, but it had lime in it. What would they call that now? There was a name for it. Oh, I can't remember what it was called now. Anybody in the chat know what I'm talking about? So you have spiced rum and coke with lime. Cuban. It was called a Cuban. I don't know if it was just something we called it down south. Say down south.
It's the same. Yeah. No, yeah. Cuban.
But we called it a Cuban. I used to love drinking them.
Oh, I know. And they're Moorish. You can just keep drinking and drinking and drinking.
Indeed.
Yeah, a whole 70 cl bottle. Yeah, and a half. One night.
And a bit more in between. Yeah.
Exactly.
No, it's great. No, I really do enjoy drinking. I mean, like most people, I'm sure they can agree. It's nice to have a drink at home because you can have it at your own pace. There's no competition, there's no excessive amount of money being spent. As much as we all like to go out when we can, that is, and I'm sure we will when we can, go out and spend money on our friends and family and drink ourselves. But it can get very expensive. It's I really do hope that prices come down. I mean, prices have changed, Graham, haven't they, significantly over the years? I mean, you used to have a good night out on a £5 once. £5.
Oh, I don't know it. You could get into a nightclub for about £3.50. The cost now. I mean, we don't have a nightclub in Dover, do we? So not that I would go anymore. Otherwise, I'd be called some sort of strange person for going to a nightclub at my age.
You can't be strange for going to a nightclub, Grim. I will be. Let me just tell you, I will be going to a nightclub one day in the future, if there is any around by then, because actually, with the social distancing and the coronavirus, they're actually saying that certain nightclubs won't ever open up again. But, I will be going with my daughter. I mean, she's going to lead a lift. I'm pretty sure she won't mind me going in and showing a few moves, right? Dad dancing. I mean,
oh, God, no. Don't embarrass the poor girl.
Probably. Probably. Well, I'll let you know how that goes. Still got a few years yet. Lee says, my winter drink is whiskey. Nice malt like Glenfiddich, but switch with the weather. Yeah, I get that. Andrew says, I'm an ex-Navy, so I grew up with rum every day. Wow, that's great. That's a good reason to join the Navy, isn't it, Grim?
Yeah, rum over your cornflakes, rum over your whatever. Just rum and rum.
Rum and raisin. Do you remember rum and raisin ice cream? I used to love that.
Oh, yes, it's gorgeous. I mean, I had a whole... Well, I didn't eat a whole tub, but there's 3 whole tubs in the van yesterday.
What, of rum and raisin?
Yeah, massive tub.
Wow. Well, I don't know how you do it, Graham. I'd eat it all.
No, I can't break it. No, I'm being good. I'm not touching ice cream.
Graham, Andrew says, I am showing my age. He's young, by the way. He's
only about 24, isn't he?
He says, I am showing my age. hang on a minute, guys. He says, I'm showing my age, but I need to remember before H&S messed about, you could buy the slots for 5p, 5 pence. Wow. Pints of slops for the youngsters. That's the tray under the beer. No. So you knew it as skips. Wow.
Yeah.
Did they even go on? Grem, well, we're maybe too young to realise then. I mean, that's not to say Lee's old, all right? He's not old. I know it. I know him. He's not old, is he, Grem?
Mm.
But he's obviously old enough, by 1 or 2 years maybe, to know about slops or skips. So, do you know what? That's really peculiar. I remember in the pubs, now bearing in mind, before the non-smoking came in public places, I remember being in a pub, Graham, I don't know if you remember this. I don't think we knew each other back then, but I'm pretty sure if we had have done, we would have been doing the same thing. Or at least I smoked, officially smoked. But it was the normal thing to do when you're in a pub and you're drinking, to have a look in the ashtray and make a roll-up out of the ends of the ashtray. I mean, it was just madness. People used to do that in the pub. It was like the done thing. You know, can you imagine that now? Now, when you think about hygiene and how it's upped, given everything with coronavirus, I mean, thinking back about hygiene and how things were back then, people wouldn't do those sort of things now, would they? I mean, things have changed dramatically over the last, I would say, 10 to 15 years. And, you know, it just makes you wonder, you know, do people still have those habits? You know, the dog ends, they call them dog ends, don't they? Where you just open up dog end and make a fag or cigarette out of it.
Yeah, well, I'm guilty there, definitely. I've done that before, but not recently.
We all were. I remember
a lot of time.
Yeah, I remember one guy, particularly in a pub. We'd smoked all our cigarettes, and we used to smoke TaylorMades back then. But also, in particular, I used to smoke roll-ups. I've always smoked roll-ups. I preferred it over TaylorMades. But I remember sitting there at the bar, and this one guy called Trevor, I knew, great guy he was, and I say was. Sadly, he's no longer with us. Really nice guy. But anyway, he and I, we shared this cigarette. We opened it up, and we used. I don't know. You know, thinking back at it now, I don't think I'd ever do it again. Andrew's showing the sick face emoji. Yeah, it's not nice.
Yucky, yuck. It's nearly 9 o'clock, Mr. Ben.
It is. And do you know what, Graham? Do you know what? I was fully aware of that. And do you know something? I've had such a great evening this evening. The Ben and Grem show tonight has been terrific, and I've really enjoyed myself. I hope the viewers equally have enjoyed themselves too. Grem, it's been an awesome pleasure with you, as always, to have the opportunity.
It's been brilliant, mate. Thank you so much as well for this evening.
Just to be sitting next to you. You know what I mean? It's a real pleasure. And guys, honestly, thank you for participating in the game. Sorry we had a few technical issues earlier in the episode or you know, series or show, but look, let's say we got through it, and I'm glad we did. And congratulations again to Lee for
well done, Lee, for winning a prize.
But ultimately, as said earlier, we're all winners. We are all winners. So from me and Graham,
there's no losers at all, unless it's can we say it? I've been very good.
Well, look, Graham, if you're going to say whatever you're going to say, it's 2056 for those of you listening. So, what do you reckon?
Can we take a vote? Need a vote.
Yeah, who says, guys, before we go, who says our Graham here can say what he needs to say? Is it permitted right now? Can he say the needs to say what he needs to say? Does that make sense? Yes, it does make sense. What do you reckon? Graham? He's still thinking. Before they come back on that, Lee has said it's been a laugh, something to let the dinner go down. Oh, thank you, absolutely. And cheers, Lee. And I hope the Glenfiddich, if that's what you're drinking, or the GNT helps you do that very very proudly. Andrew says, Ben and Graham has helped me through this COVID-19 time. Thank you. Yeah, it has us, actually. It has certainly me, Graham, and I hope it's done the same for you too. I mean, you know, it kind of mixes things up, changes things. I will say this, guys, and I say this with great potential sadness, but also from the bottom of my heart, okay, I say that I do hope that the Ben and Graham show has longer legs than the moment of coronavirus, COVID-19. I'd like to believe it has a future. And of course, that depends, doesn't it, on a number of different things. Of course, once we go back to a said normal, things might become slightly out of sync. You know, there might be situations where we can't hold regular shows every week. But the point being is the Ben and Grem show, as far as we're concerned, Graham, is here to stay. There just could be a few changes with how it operates in the near to distant future. So we won't come to that at the moment, because there's no point in crossing a bridge until you get there, right? Never assess the situation until you get there, because you don't know what you're looking at. Yeah. You know, you don't need a ladder to go over a gap if there is no need to go over it. If the ladder doesn't need to be required because the gap doesn't exist. But you won't know it until you get there. So let's just be real about these things. Do not cross the bridge until you get there.
Yeah.
But technically, just to reiterate on that, you can't do that anyway, because
Ben.
unless you're at the bridge, you can't cross it. So I don't know if that made any sense. Lee says, old speckled hen this evening. Nice. Lee says he can say anything as I can't hear him. Graham, you can say what you like, mate. Nobody can hear you.
No one can hear me.
No, so say what you like.
But you can hear me fine.
I can. Well, I say fine. I can hear you. But then again, I because of feedback, I haven't had you very loud, Graham. You know what I mean? I don't want you coming through twice. So, but I can hear enough of you to understand what.
Okay. Yeah. Never mind. But when it comes to editing, we can rectify that.
Easy. But we will get it sorted. And
worries.
Andrew, that, like I said earlier, that was a very nice gesture which you mentioned to Graham, and Graham, I'm sure, will be in touch with you in due course. And Andrew says the Ben and Graham show will go on after this coronavirus. Yes, it will. I do hope so, and I do believe it will, Graham, don't you?
Yes,
like I say, obviously, like all things, and I'm sure, Andrew, you will know, you know, as somebody who has your own channel, you know, you can only work with the time that's given to you at the times of when you have that time available. So you can only do what's best at the right times, and certain times you'll have to put things off. But in those instances, we will be back, and we will keep people updated. That's what social media is for. We will keep people updated.
It is.
But Graham, again, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure, and thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Ben. Thank you for tonight. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. It's really appreciated. God bless everyone.
Take care, night.